So, marketing in a digital age. So I was able to work with MassDigi, a company that works with undergrads and recent college grads to get the real-world experience in the video game industry without the real-world consequences. And they were looking for a marketing volunteer who has game dev experience. Most likely they wanted it to be a student, and were willing to teach their marketing or help them along the way to market the games that were being created through their two programs, the summer internship program, which is SIP, and their experience program, which is XP. They worked on a bunch of different mobile games that were created by those students in those programs, and were able to market those to everyone and everything. Some general goals that we wanted to have were to get 500 new users. We wanted a target, our CPI, which is our cost per install, to be at least 18 cents or less through the paid ad campaigns, and we were going to promote the games not only through those, but through also social media, and we wanted to gather some new followers on Twitter. MassDigi wanted to get part of the indie dev community that was on Twitter. And I had a pretty decently long time frame to do so, between June of 2021 and April right now. Some historical analytics. This shows what MassDigi was able to do in the spring of 2021 with a budget of $1,500. And this was what they were able to gather up: some new users, some high retention rates, and we wanted to be able to either replicate that or to improve upon it. So some general marketing strategies for video games. Obviously, you want social media, you want some app store optimization. There's always the influencers you can talk to, and video marketing, so up on YouTube and everything like that. Our strategy was very similar. Social media, app stores. We were going to do some paid ads through Google, and we were going to have our trailers up on YouTube. Trailers were created by the devs, and we let the devs have the App Store optimization information that I grabbed up together. So our strategy in depth, our budget for each semester was $1,500. Summer of 2021, the fall of 2021, and then the spring of 2022. Each semester the games would change. In the summer we had 7 games, all created between the SIP program and the XP program, all created by the students who had a short time frame. It was done in person and also via remote, and they were given some restraints to do so, but had free will to do whatever they pleased. Same thing was happening in the fall. As you can see, we transferred some of the summer programs games over, and that was taken over by students and then worked upon to give updates to the games and etc. We also had 3 new XP games because the XP program was running in the fall. So the fall was a bit rough. We had about 9 games at one point, and 1 of me. So keeping track of all of the devs and making sure things were going out was a bit of a challenge. In the spring, we only have these 4 games that are currently out and running right now. They're great games. They all have different types, and it was beautiful to work with them all the way through. So the budget gets split up. We take the total budget, we split it between the games themselves, and then we take that number and split it between how long we want the ad campaign to run. Our goals, as the same, were to get the 500 new users. We wanted to increase the retention rate for the users. We wanted to have a successful PAX. I will tell you what it is in a moment. And we got to explore some geographic locations for the ads, which can help with the retention rate of users. So obviously in depth we went between what ad campaigns would be best between each company's Facebook and Google. We compared the benefits and everything. Social media, at one point we had Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It was very difficult for one person to keep track of all of them. So after having a sit down and figuring out what they wanted most out of their social media, we decided Twitter was going to be the best and foremost way to go forward. These are always different social media platforms that we can work on in the future with more people on deck. Obviously, PAX East is the first PAX since March of 2020 in person. For success, we wanted some 100 downloads. We wanted to get some feedback for the devs. We wanted some new followers on Twitter, some general stuff that we could easily keep track of. And we asked the type of users that the devs wanted, and they all wanted to see high retention rates of the people playing their games, which I get it. They wanted people to give their feedbacks. So we did a comparison between what would be best for our budget and our campaigns, which was Google Ads versus Facebook's. So for Facebook ads, it's a general cost per click, which is $1.80. The one benefit Facebook has is you have target audience based. So they were able to target audience their ads, and they were able to base that ad to go towards their targets. Google benefits, they have different types of ads. So you can have ones that run just via the search engine. You can have ones that pop up on all different online websites and stuff. If you've ever been on a website and there's a bunch of ads on the side of the page, that's probably a Google ad. And you got to choose the location of the ad, which changes the cost per click. So that is all dependent on the geographical location. So we went with Google. We were able to stretch our budget pretty far, as you saw. The countries we picked were the United States, India, Indonesia, South Africa, Romania, China, Vietnam, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, Philippines, and Turkey. United States, we decided to be our control along with India when we were trying to get new users. So they had pretty decent cost per installs, and we wanted to see what would be best. But all of the others were based on some research on what games would do best in those locations, along with having low cost per installs. So for the ad campaigns, the analytics, what we were able to do in the summer was we spent $848 for all of those games, and we got 6,000 installs between the games themselves. We had a good CPI of 14 cents. We were able to meet what we wanted. We were able to do something very similar in the fall. Sadly, XP games, you kind of slip through our fingers, and I wish I could have done more for them, but I was balancing school along with, now I had 9 games to deal with. But we were able to only spend $438, and we were able to get 3,000 installs with a very low CPI. And so far in the spring, we've only spent about $48, and we've been seeing some pretty good things out of them. So for the ad creations, in the summer, I was able to create the ads for the teams. I had a lot more time on my hands. In the fall, we slowly transitioned to having the teams create the ads while I gave them edits and feedbacks, and I think that worked out the best. And the spring so far, as you can see, they had full creation for the ads. We really wanted to bring in the teams to give them an experience, to help out with marketing and to bring them closer to me so they can understand what I do and everything. And one way to do that was to have the artists join us in helping with the ads. But I think the best way it worked out was for the fall, having them create something and then allowing me to edit that. So here are some really large analytics. This is solely from the last ad campaign, which was completed about 2 weeks ago now. These are all the assets and what they were used and how they performed. All of it is, you get approved. These are all from Google. They all have different things. They have a performance. As you can see, the good, the best, the learnings. So what makes this good and the best are all based on what Google says. And I believe that is all through what the conversation rates are and the click-through rates. So it compares those two numbers and comes up with what would be the best performing ads. So it makes people click, what makes people go through things, along with what good is. So for social media, the platforms, as repeated, were Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We kind of pushed away TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. It is very hard for one person to keep up with TikTok, especially with all the videos that they have. It's like making videos daily, and that's how you get a really great following there. Similar with Instagram and Facebook, it's about posting daily along with Twitter. But as repeated, Mass2G wanted to be involved in the indie dev community, and the best place to do that was on Twitter. They have a great indie dev community. Interacting with them is great. It's awesome. So over the summer, we did really well. I was able to get some great analytics from them. I was talking to them a lot. I was posting daily. I was going back and forth between some of the community people there, and it was great. And then in the fall and spring, we wanted to do some posting twice a week, simply because we were in the school time, and it's kind of hard to balance all of that on your own. So as I said, some of these were all of the beautiful analytics that happened over the summer. Over the summer alone, I was able to gain 104 followers, which is about half of what we were looking for in our goal. And a lot of it came from replying to people and one of these hashtags called Wishlist Wednesday. We figured out gifts were a great way to increase engagement and everything else. So as far as PAX, what is happening right now, we wanted to increase the number of followers on Twitter. That was our goal. That was what we would see as a good thing. By 100 people, we wanted to gain some valuable feedback for the devs, and we wanted to get about 150 installs for each game as a result of PAX. And we have, analytics, and we have things following them along. So at PAX, we're showing off these 4 games. We have a booth being run by volunteers such as myself, and we talked over what the message of Master G is with the volunteers, and they all understand this is what we're trying to promote to them. But yeah, so far PAX is going great. So our future is what's working for us. Google Ads, it allows us to stay in budget. Twitter is working really well as far as getting involved in the indie dev community, along with getting clicks on Linktree, which in turn can lead to clicks on the games that we have linked there. And the collaborative ad creation between the teams and myself. This only really works if there's some great communication between me and the teams, which, as you saw in the fall, was actually really great. And also in the summer, because I was taking their feedback and doing well. But what can be improved upon right now is the location of the ads. Obviously, we have the big question, is India just selling us spots? Which is something that we can always figure out in the future. Trying different ad types, we can try different Google ads. Obviously, we can retry the Facebook ads. I would say take a game and compare it between, have it run both in Facebook and in Google, do some little A/B testing. Pre-install ads, see if we can get some hype up before the launch. And posting more regularly on all social medias, and hopefully having someone else come in to help so we can get a TikTok and actually start talking to the players themselves instead of just the devs. So those are all of our future things that we want to work towards to see some improvements upon. But yeah, thank you so much.